Hi! It's been a while since I talked to you guys. Things have happened. Welcome back to another one of my videos. So one of those things that have happened is that I moved to a different state. I used to live in Minnesota, but in January I moved down to North Carolina with my family. And before the move I had to quit a couple of my jobs, the main one being a bakery job and the second was a side job, and it was pet sitting / dog walking, which I really enjoyed. So if you love dogs, I highly recommend that job, at least as a side job. So anyway, after I quit my jobs, the packing began. I didn't document any of the moving process, but to fill you in on a little bit of what happened, especially with what I did with my pets, basically we had to redo the carpet in my old bedroom. So that meant moving everything out of my room before moving. So I moved everything to the next room, which was like the dining room. So the cats were gonna have access to that room, which is risky with my pets. So my pets were the last to be moved out of my room. I started with the Hermit Crabs, and I did go to Walmart and get my Hermit Crabs and my lizard their traveling bins. So this was the Hermit Crab one. They're really cheap at Walmart. So I cut a couple slits in the lid for air to pass through, and I filled this up pretty high with their sand. I also had their water / hide dish in here and some foliage for them to hide under, but I realized that my 5 very large crabs were not all gonna fit in here. I mean, they would have been really cozy if I did, but I didn't want them to be cramped. So I went to the dollar store and got another bin, a smaller one, to put like 2 of my smallest crabs in. So I filled it up with pretty high with sand again. I gave them a water bowl and something to hide under. I cut a couple holes in this lid as well. And they all did really great in these bins for a couple of weeks, I think. I also fed them food during that time. I wasn't going to during the trip though, except for some millet spray, because that's not going to get moldy. Instead it will just grow into a plant. So to keep the cats away, I put them on a really high shelf. But anyway, after the crabs, I moved the skink into the other room, but I didn't put him in his travel bin yet because his cage was easy to move and I wanted him to be in there as long as possible. Luckily the cats didn't climb on his cage or anything, and my lizard has been brumating. Brumating is like hibernating for lizards, and so he's just been sleeping underground for months now. Hasn't eaten a thing, but apparently that's normal. Luckily he wasn't going to be out and about to attract the cats. So the fish were the last to come out of my room. For them I put them in a 5-gallon bucket. I only had 2 fish, the angelfish and the jullicory, so they were going to be fine in that size bucket. I also put all their live plants in there. I also put an air stone and a heater in there for them during the days that they would just be sitting in that room, which was only like a couple days. My angelfish has lived in that 20-gallon long since the day I got him, which was like 2 years ago. So it was really weird catching such a large fish. I've never had such a large fish. It's pretty cool. But yeah, crazy to think that he's never left that fish tank in 2 years. So at some point I did put my lizard in his travel container, which was a container I got at Walmart also, and I cut holes in the lid. Yeah, in his I just put some mulch and his hide and some foliage, but I didn't put any food and water in there because I knew he wasn't going to be coming out at all for any of that. So when moving day came, my pets were the very last things to leave the house, and it was the middle of winter, below freezing, so cold outside, and it was nighttime when we left. So yeah, they had to be the last things out of the house so that they wouldn't be sitting in a cold car. The car was going to be warm as long as it was running the whole trip, but I did get them some hand warmer heat packs for some extra heat that I taped to the sides of their bins. The fish had to be put in the very back of the car. That was the only spot we could find for them. So I wasn't able to check on them the whole trip. I did reach back and feed them once. So it was a very long trip. We stopped at like every rest stop. It took well over 24 hours to get here. We did have to take some naps now and again, which meant having the car off so that it wouldn't drain the battery. So it got pretty cold in there during those times. So I was especially worried about the fish. Cody didn't sleep a wink the whole trip. He just had to know what was going on the whole time. And if I didn't let him out at every stop, he would have just whimpered. So when we finally arrived, I finally got to check on my fish after bringing them into my room, which is actually a shed that is apart from the house. We live in the country now, and the main house is a single wide mobile home that isn't big enough for my whole family, especially me, because I have most of the stuff and all these pets. So there was this shed that came with this property that is now my room, and it's bigger than my old room, so I am loving that. It has also come with these shelves and tables, which is really nice because it gave me a place to put my pets. So anyway, when we got all the pets in here, I finally got to check on the fish, and sadly they did not make it. But my other pets did. I was really sad about the fish though. I did cry quite a bit, mainly because I felt so sorry for them. I really did like my angelfish. He lived for 2 years, which isn't a lot for an angelfish because they can live for 10 years. But he was special, you know. Normally you'd put angelfish in a tall tank, but because they're such a tall fish, but I had a 20-gallon long, and he was perfect for that because he had this deformity where his top fin was bent, so that made him shorter. And he's also been through a lot. Like, so many fish have died in that tank in the last 2 years, and he survived through every sickness that there was. So yeah, it's been really nice living in this tiny home, I guess. As an aquarium hobbyist, I have always wanted a sink in my bedroom, and here I actually get to have a sink in my bedroom, which is so awesome for fish, but unfortunately I don't have any fish right now, so can't really use it for that yet. I am planning on getting fish in the future, but not only do I have a sink, I also have a mini fridge and a microwave that I got specifically for my pets to keep my lizards frozen food in a freezer, and a microwave to heat it up. Of course, I'll be using those for myself as well. And they're retro, and I love retro things, so of course I got retro, including a coffee maker. That one's for me. Anyway, now I have more retro things to go with the retro trash can I already have. So I will be giving an update on the hermit crabs in like their own video. And this property also came with a chicken coop. So not long after moving here, we already got chickens. So we have 5 chickens. My 20th birthday has passed, and for my birthday I asked for a chicken I've always wanted, which is a silky chicken. So I actually have paper saying that I'm getting chicks in the mail in late March. And they are black silky chicks, and it has to be more than one when you're ordering online, so there are 5 of them coming. We'll see if they all survive. I will probably make a separate video dedicated to just chickens. I'll show you like what I've got so far for the chicks. They will be staying in this shed with me as they grow up. I will try not to post too many videos about chickens because I know most of you aren't here to watch chickens. But it's a new pet, so I figured I'd mention it. So my dog Cody has really been enjoying it here. He loves the country life. Pomeranians are usually like apartment dogs, kept all clean and pretty and perfect. So Cody doesn't really look like he belongs in the country, but he sure loves it here. He has never been outside so much. This time the bedroom door goes directly outside instead of into a hallway. And we're constantly going to and from the house, so yeah, he gets to be outside a lot. Back in Minnesota, he would spend most of his time inside, just staring out a window, looking at cars go by and people go by. He used to not like going out in the rain at all, but here he just loves it so much that he'll just sit in the rain for hours. Not only does he love all the space here to run around, There's also a neighbor who has dogs that free roam, and they come into our property now and again. And Cody just loves to see them. And I really enjoy seeing them too. Well, I think that's all I have to update on. If you stuck around this long, you must be bored. But I thank you for watching. Bye.